Today, I discuss the upcoming set Plasma Freeze. This is Lugia's Thundurus Thursday. Hey everybody, this is Lugia from Pokemon Bros 1000, and I didn't do a big thing on the background because I didn't feel like it, but today is Thursday, so that means we have another installment of Lugia's Thundurus Thursday. This is the 11th episode, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but then I realized I hadn't done anything on Spiral Force or Thunder Knuckle, and Plasma Freeze is coming out on May 8th, which is Professor Pikachu's birthday, by the way. So, I decided to look through the set and talk about some of the cards. I hadn't really done anything about it, so I'm going to turn off the light and let's get started. So, first card we have here is this Execute. So, as if you watched the last episode of Lugia's Thundurus Thursday, you saw that there was a shiny Execute, and this is the set that shiny Execute's from. And they made this Execute shiny because it's actually going to be very playable. It's probably maybe a little overhyped, but it will be playable. So that's what the card looks like. Here's what it does. It has an ability, Sap Sipper. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you can put it into your hand. So, that doesn't sound that good. You gotta just bring it back to life if it's in the discard pile. And C-Bomb does 30 damage for a grass and a colorless. Executor isn't really that great either. Nothing special. Block, 10 damage during your opponent's next turn. He or she cannot play any supporters, so no supporters. And then Stomp, 60 plus damage. Flip a coin of heads, this attack does 30 more damage. So, nothing special there. Now I'm going to skip a bunch of cards and go down to what this card goes along with. And it's not the Sneasel, but here's the Sneasel. If you're going to be playing this deck, you're going to need a Sneasel. And it says, Quick Attack, 20 plus damage. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 20 more damage. So, that's for a dark and a colorless. And then, there's this awesome Plasma Weavile. So this Weavile, it has, for one colorless, Hail does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So that's pretty good. That's a lot of sniping. That'll help. Especially with some Darkrai decks. This will be great with Darkrai decks if you can just throw a couple of these cards in there if you even have room anymore. And it only has one retreat cost down here. So, and then its second attack for a dark and a colorless is Scapegoats. 30 times the damage. You may discard as many Pokemon from your hand as you like. This attack does 30 damage times the number of cards discarded this way. So, let's say you can search and get 3 Executes in your hand. So, you get 3 Executes in your hand, and then all you need is a dark and a colorless, and then you attack, and you discard those 3 Executes and maybe anything else you have in your hand, Sableye or whatever, and you are doing 90 damage at least with those 3. Let's say you get 4, you're doing 120 damage, and this is a Dark-type Pokemon, so there's not that much it's super effective against, but that's a 2-hit KO with a Stage 1 Pokemon for only a Dark and a colorless to pretty much anything except for Crystal Wall Black Kyurem. So that is going to be very useful, and that's going to be one of the decks you're going to be seeing. Maybe. So, next, I'll look for, here's a Heattranny EX. Very cool card. It's not that great. Heat Boiler for a red and a double colorless. 60 plus damage if this Pokemon is affected by a special condition. This attack does 60 more damage. So that's going to be great against some Darkrai decks, but with the water weakness, it won't do that well because Hypnotoxic Laser will let it do 120, but it's a fire card. So I think that'll be good to take out Genesects when they come out, but I doubt you'll see a lot of that. Dynamite Breath for 2 reds and a double colorless, 80 plus damage. This Pokemon has a Plasma Energy attached to it. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on the defending Pokemon. So that's pretty good, I guess. Now we have this ability, Chandelure, which is pretty good. Its ability, Flare Navigation. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may search your deck for a fire energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Place 1 damage counter on that Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So, yeah, it just lets you look for your fire energy, but that's also placing damage counters. So it's like Dynamotor except in your deck and you're doing damage to yourself, But if you're putting it on something like your Chandelure, you can just use Absorb Life, which does 70 damage and heals 30 damage from this Pokemon. So this could be good with that Heattranny, but it is a Stage 2 Pokemon and has that water weakness. So we'll continue, and this is the set with our evolutions, or more of them, or all of them actually. This is the Freeze Zone ability of Kecleon. All of your Team Plasma Pokemon require 2 less energy to retreat. That makes it so that Kecleon has free retreat cost. So this is also going to be sort of hard to play all the evolutions because that would require a bunch of EVs and a bunch of energy. So here's a Jolteon, which isn't that good. Elic Diffuse, 40 damage. If any Pokemon is a Pokemon EX during your opponent's next turn, that Pokemon can attack. That's pretty good, but there aren't really electric type decks unless you want to stick that into a Dynamo or electric deck. Here's a Zekrom. Zekrom's been pretty good before, but this one's okay. 50 damage, attack isn't affected by resistance, and 80 plus damage if there's a Reshiram on your bench. Attack just 40 more damage. I will come out and say this now. I'm gonna say 100% this card will not see any play in Worlds or anything around there. Because, like, who would play this? Because you need a Reshiram to actually have it be good. So, we'll continue. There's Nidoqueen, and then we have this Mr. Mime, which is very cool artwork. A lot of people like it. Its ability, Bench Berry. Your bench Pokemon can't be damaged by attacks. So, you just throw this in with your Mewtwo deck or whatever you want, and throw that into the bench. And then, the Darkrai cannot snipe you, or all other Pokemon can't snipe you. So, that's very good. And now, we'll probably come to, I'm going to say this is the most hyped card. This Deoxys EX. Because this can go along with your Mewtwo's, whatever you want. Because its ability, Power Connect, all of your Team Plasma Pokemon do 10 more damage to defending Pokemon. That's one thing. And its attack, Spiral Force, which is the name of that part of their set. For a Psychic and a Colorless, does 30 plus damage. If this Pokemon has a Plasma energy attached to it, this attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon. So it's pretty much Mewtwo, except you're relying more on the defending Pokemon. But it's also a Psychic and a Colorless, and you also don't have to attach a bunch to Deoxys, which could affect when you're facing Mewtwo's. So Mewtwo would only be able to do 40 times, I think it's 30, right? I haven't really looked at Mewtwo card a lot. But then this ability, that would make, Exclusion Deoxys EX. Never mind. Yep. So now we have another ability Pokemon. That's mostly what I'm going to be looking at. We have a Graegus. Deep Grave, once during the turn before you attack, you may use this ability. If you do, this Pokemon is knocked out. Place 3 damage counter to your opponent Pokemon in any way you like. That's not that good. It kills the Pokemon, and you just spend all that time to get it out there by evolving. And then you only get to put 30 damage on it. So we'll skip that Weavile, and here's a cool Absol. This set's going to be really cool. I like the artwork. It's going to be called Plasma Freeze. And here's a Kingdra, which is really cool. Very cool. I like how they made it Dragon type. And now we have this Lackeyocx. Lackeyocx EX. Not that good, because you're going to need to be playing Psychic and Water energies. So maybe in Keldeo or something, but then that's just extra Psychic that you can't put on your Keldeo. So, Mach Fly, 40 damage during your opponent's next turn if any Pokemon can't retreat, and Luster Purge, which is its signature move, 150 damage, discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. So, we'll continue on to this Raticate, which is actually a very, very good card, just like the Boundaries Cross one, which was a little hyped. It was pretty good. It brought the opponent down to 10 HP, but this lets you, for one colorless, select one Team Plasma Pokemon, one Team Plasma Trainer, and a Team Plasma Energy card from your discard pile and put them into your hand. So it's like a Sableye, Junk Hunting, but better because you get 3 Plasma things. So that'll be very good. You could grab a Hypnotoxic Laser, and a Plasma Energy, and like a Deoxys or whatever you want, whatever Plasma Pokemon you're playing, Lugia. It's really a great card. Now we have a Kecleon, which, while this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, its type is the same as the active Pokemon, which is normal. We get a Super Energy Retrieval. As you know, there's Energy Retrieval, which lets you get 2 energies out of your discard pile. This discards 2 cards from your hand, and you get 4. And now we have this new supporter, Getsis. Look at your opponent's hand. Your opponent shuffles all item cards back into his or her deck. Draw 1 card for each item card shuffled in this way. That is a very powerful card, and I think it's going to see quite a bit of play. Now we have a Frozen City. When either player attaches an energy to their non-Team Plasma Pokemon, place 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. That could just be thrown into some decks, maybe. Just mess with some Keldeos or whatever. And now we have our first A spec. And remember, we're only halfway through, so this could be a very long video, but we already are through Weavile and Execute. Rock Guard, which is pretty much Super Rocky Helmet, which puts 6 damage counters instead of 2. And that's it for that. And then we have Shiny Empoleon from Dark Explorers, Shiny Sigilyph, which is the Safeguard one, and Shiny Ultra Ball. And now we'll continue and continue and continue. Leafeon, Flareon, Reshiram, which is the same as Zekrom pretty much. And continue and continue. Nothing in the set, nothing in the set. This is a very cool Kyurem. I like it. I like Kyurem. And then we have an Electro. This Electrode isn't that great, but it looks pretty cool. Draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. You can only use the ability once per turn. So that makes it so that you can't be like, here, I'll just use all my cards and then just draw more again. And now we have Thundurus EX, which people are saying is good, but I don't really see it. For 1 Lightning Energy, Thunder Knuckle, which is the name of this half of the set, 30 damage, attach an energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Team Plasma Pokemon. I guess that's pretty good. It's like, yeah, throw that in with a Dynamotor, and then you'll just be circulating energy a lot. Very good with Juniper. And then Thunder Route for 2 Lightning and 2 Colorless. Does 90 damage to the Pokemon has a Plasma Energy attached to it. Discard an energy card attached to the defending Pokemon. So I guess that's pretty good. It's not going to be super effective versus Keldeo because it's not Grass type. But, oh well. So we'll continue. And then we have this Metagross, which is a big card in the set. It's not that great, but Plasma Search once during your turn. You may search your deck for a Team Plasma card, show it to your opponent, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. You can't use more than 1 Plasma Search ability each turn. So that means that if you have more than 1 Metagross out, you can't use it more than once. So that's not that good, and its attack 6 damage. Defending Pokemon's not confused, but with Keldeo, you can just rush in. And now we have the ability, the ability Evolution here from this half. Umbreon, Dark Shade, all of your Team Plasma Pokemon have plus 20 HP, so that's pretty good. And then 70 damage for a Dark and a Colorless. We'll continue to this Hydreigon. Hydreigon's been good previously, but this one's not that good. There it is. That's what it does. You can all see all these scans on Pokebeach, as I always say. And now we get to Lackeyocx EX, which has an ability, Shining Feathers. This Pokemon is unaffected by moves from a Pokemon that has an ability. So, you throw this in, because this needs Fire and Psychic, but against a Keldeo, you know what that means. It's not affected. It's not affected by anything unless they throw in a Garbodor, and then you're screwed. Then it doesn't matter, because that's an ability. But its attack is not that great. 70 damage. Its attack isn't affected by anything, so it's like Steel Bullet from Kecleon EX. Then we have a Tornadus EX. That's a Therian form. Shuffle your hand back into your deck, then draw 6 cards. 60 plus damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each Plasma Energy attached to this Pokemon. So they're just trying to promote Plasma Energy. And now we have a bunch more trainers. We have Team Plasma Ball. Search your deck for a Team Plasma card. I think it's just a Pokemon. Float Stone. Each deck... sorry, I read the wrong thing. The Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost, so that's pretty good if you get something with a lot of retreat cost. And then we have another supporter, Shadow Triad. You may search your deck for... Search your discard pile for a Team Plasma card, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. So I guess that's pretty good. I would just use Eradicate if you need that. And then we have more Plasma Energy and this Life Essence. When this Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 less prized card. So, if you put that, like, I think this could do really well with a Lugia EX, because you're taking one extra prize card and they're taking one less prize card, but that's, like, you stick that on an EX and they only take one. That's the only thing, really, because if you put it on something with one, then you, gosh dang it, I can't think. If you put it on something with one, then they get 0 prize cards, so that's pretty good. It's just free. I forgot to show you this full art Getsis. You can look at the other full arts, but there's full art Getsis because they randomly, not really randomly, but they didn't make full art Shadow Triad. They made full art Juniper, which is a very, very good looking card. I'm not hitting on Professor Juniper, if you thought that. The card's a good looking card. Okay, and then we have the Garbotox and Garbodor shiny, the Garchomp shiny, which I really am mad because Garchomp shiny is the worst shiny in the history of shinies. And then we have Max Potion shiny. So, thanks for watching, guys. This has been another episode of Lugia's Thundurus Thursday. Very, very long episode, but more set reviews, and there probably won't be one for a while. So, you can be happy if you don't like set reviews. So, thanks for watching, guys. Go check out Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram at Pokemon Master Jake. I post stuff every day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe, check out our code card raffle, and goodbye.